Thank you for tuning in again. Tonight we have something really good, a hot topic in the news this week. He's been charged with crime. This is a show where I try to educate real stories. Welcome to Truth and Justice with Vivian King. Happy New Year. Today is January 2nd, 2013, and I wish all of my viewers a very prosperous and safe and healthy New Year. In the studio today, we have Alicia Thomas. She has so graciously agreed to tell us her story from going on the right path to somehow slipping off the wrong path, like a lot of young people do, and how she went to prison, how she recovered and became a normal tax-paying working person. It's a very difficult thing to do. She also works really heavily with her church, and she works heavily with a program at her church, and the church is St. John's United Methodist Church downtown. She works with the program called Path to Freedom, and actually got a beautiful certificate in church on Sunday that she shared with me and let me see it. So we're going to talk about her struggles, and we welcome your calls to comment, or to, if you need help at the church, maybe you can come and be a part of this program, and maybe you can try to just find out how you can go from bad to better to God to working, and hopefully we can do that for you and inspire you along the way. So Alicia, let's talk about the criminal justice system today and talk about your story. Thank you for agreeing to tell your story, because I know it's always emotional and a little painful to share your story, but I want to assure you that your story will help others.
Okay, not a problem.
So Alicia, let's talk about, how old are you now?
49 years old.
Well, you look good. I never have thought you were 49.
Thank you.
That's great.
Thank you.
Well, talk to me about your background. We've talked a little bit off air about you being from Galveston and living in Galveston, Houston, graduated from high school at Booker T. Washington in 1982. Going back and forth to Galveston and Beaumont and back to Houston. So talk to us a little bit about your high school days. Did you have any problems in high school?
You know, to be honest with you, I had no problems in high school. You know, I love going to school, being around other people, especially being that I grew up in my household by myself, along with my two parents, you know, well, my mom and my dad. And so I just always loved socializing and being in the midst of others. And I went to school in Galveston, and then in '79, I moved here to Houston. And I completed school from Booker T. Washington. I graduated in 1982.
Tell us what was significant about your high school days.
I just loved, especially my experience. I remember so much about my experience at Booker T. Washington. It was fun-filled. It was educational. I got to meet a lot of people because I was also involved in the athletic program along with my cousin, and it was very, very enthusiastic. I was just enthusiastic to be here in Houston.
Tell me about your percussion playing.
Well, my profession plan was to be a registered nurse.
No, tell me about the percussion. Didn't you tell me that you were one of the first females to play in the percussion band at Booker T?
Yes, ma'am. I was one of the first females to play the cymbals in the percussion section at Booker T. Washington. And that was a great experience. It was so fun. It was really fun.
That's great. So you graduated in 1992, and what did you do after that?
After I graduated in '82, I moved back to Galveston, where my mom resided, and I attended Galveston College. I was going to school to be a nurse. And after a couple of years, I decided, well, here's where my life kind of took a little change. I decided, well, I want to be an LVN. And from an LVN to a nurse's assistant. So, you know.
But your original goal was to be an RN, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Like your mother?
Yes, ma'am.
So what happened? Why did you go from wanting to be an RN to an LVN?
I think relationships had a lot to do with it, you know. Yeah, it really did.
So do you think you were in like a relationship that required a lot of time, too much time to study, or why would a relationship be distracting from your profession or what you're trying to achieve personally from 8 to 5?
Well, between relationships, drinking, and drugging.
Okay. So the relationship you were in or relationships you were in, were those people trying to go to school and be progressive, or were they drinking and drugging?
Well, one was trying to go to school and be a profession. The second relationship where, you know how you say your emotions, you're in love, you think you're in love, it wasn't all that. They was trying to hold down their career and at the same time use drugs. And that's when I got involved in heavier drugs, crack cocaine.
How did that relationship and that person being involved in drugs make you want to be involved in drugs? I know, because we always think that we're strong enough. I think in the 80s, I dated a guy who was snorting cocaine. You know, that was the cocaine days of the 80s. He was snorting powder cocaine. I don't think I really knew it, except that he would say they were partying that way. But every now and then I would go with he and his buddies, you know, like double, triple dates, start off at somebody's house before we go out, and they start passing this plate. I never participated. Not that I'm a goody two-shoes. I've just never tried cocaine.
Right.
I just didn't do it. I just, for some reason, I was afraid of some of the stories I'd heard people say. But back then, it was something that everybody seemed to do. If they could afford it. So I reneged on that. I just passed the plate. You know, I didn't touch it. But tell me, what made you touch it?
Well, I was like, being in the midst of it, you know, I became real curious. Well, where's all this money going? And if y'all enjoying it, I want to try, you know, and never thought I could be addicted. You know, you always say, oh, that's a myth, you know, and I tried it. And ever since then, it was on in my life.
Well, was it the powdered form that sometimes people say takes a longer time to become addicted to, or was it crack or freebasing? Which was it?
It was the freebasing. It was the freebasing that did it.
Tell me the difference between using powder cocaine and freebasing, if you know.
Well, with powder cocaine, you can toot it as a snort it in your nose. Crack cocaine is where we cooked it up. We cook it with boiling water in a test tube and baking soda until it becomes a rock form.
Now that's the freebasing.
Correct.
So was one more addictive than the other?
To me, yes.
Because I've had people share that with me, that when they snorted cocaine, that was somewhat of an addiction, but they could just party and do that every now and then, like on Saturdays or with their friends. But when it came to the crack cocaine or the freebasing, it was it was more addictive.
Yes.
It was more addicting. So I was just wondering if you could explain that feeling of why one was more addicting than the other, if you can put it into words.
It's really like the euphoria, the euphoric part of it. It just I can't even describe it. It was just a good feeling.
What about the powder? It wasn't euphoric?
Not as much as smoking.
Okay.
Not as much as smoking, and it kept you you kept a monkey on your back. You know how you have a monkey on your back? You want to get it off? So what I mean by that, it kept you craving. It kept you wanting more and more.
But the powder didn't have you craving like that?
Not like that.
Interesting. Interesting. So why didn't you say, well, this crack or freebasing rock form is so addicting with the monkey, I'm just going to leave that alone and just party with the powder?
I never did. I never did cross that line no more. And to be honest with you,
once you crossed over, you never crossed back.
Right, I never crossed back. I really, to be honest with you, stopped smoking marijuana and did very little drinking and smoked. And
now, what about people saying that when you smoke marijuana and drink, like you said you did at first, that cocaine is a gateway drug? If you do one, you're going to automatically do the other or be curious to do the other. Tell me your feelings on that.
Well, to me, to be honest with you, you really can't afford to do all three types of drugs, you know, that I stated that I like, from the drinking, the marijuana, to the cocaine. Once you start buying cocaine, you really don't have no money to feed yourself.
Wow.
So you can't afford to, either you're going to drink and smoke crack cocaine, or either you gonna leave the drinking now and buy more cocaine.
Did you smoke cigarettes at the time?
Yes, ma'am. I had just started smoking cigarettes.
Do you still smoke cigarettes?
Yes, ma'am.
Because I know a lot of ex-addicts still smoke cigarettes. It's like they still have to do something. And I smoked for 30 years, smoked cigarettes for 30 years, so I do understand that addiction is a tough one to break.
Yes, very tough.
But I do know a lot of ex-offenders that I've met through the 20 years I've been in criminal law, and just people I know that have they still smoke, even though they might have for 20 years gone to AA. They still go, but they still seem to need to have some vice.
Some vice. And a lot of them smoke, I mean, not just smoke cigarettes, but drink a lot of coffee too.
That's what they do. Yeah. That is so funny. That's what they do. Because I've had contractors, I've renovated a couple of old houses, and that's what they did. They drank that coffee all the time, and they smoked cigarettes all the time. Why is that?
I don't know. I guess that's just a AANA thing. But I started off drinking coffee once I got incarcerated. I started drinking coffee.
So let's talk about that. Now, the first time you got incarcerated having to do with your addiction, you got probation.
Yes, ma'am.
And it was 8 years TDC. That was back in 1987. You got 8 years probation.
Yes, ma'am.
Back then, the classification for cocaine was possession of a controlled substance, cocaine weighing under 28 grams, less than 28 grams. And it was a second-degree felony. Now the categories are much different, because usually people back then only had about a gram or less than a gram. Because when you were having these problems in 87, that was before they created the state jail felonies.
Correct.
Back then it was just first degree, second degree, and third degree. So yours was a second degree amount. You got 8 years probation, but within a year you'd already violated it, and they gave you 3 years TDC in 1988.
And I did all that time in the county.
Okay. You did the time in the county. So back then you got 3 years TDC in 1988, and when you say I did all that time in the county, all of your prison time, instead of going to TDC in Huntsville to be processed, you stayed in Harris County Jail.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you remember about how long you stayed? I know it was a long time ago.
I want to say about maybe 8 months. I stayed about 8 months.
And would parole come visit you in Harris County Jail to parole you out?
Yes, ma'am.
And off air, you talked about the fact that you never would go see a parole officer. So do you remember back in 88 when you were paroled out, if you ever went and saw your parole officer?
Yes. I was scheduled to go to a halfway house. So back then, you know, well, I've had the experience now, whereas it's up to you to report to the halfway house once you're set free. I never went. I went back to the hood, is what you call it. I never did go report, you know. I just ran until I got caught up again.
Okay. And so then after that, you picked up another possession of a controlled substance less than 28 grams, another second-degree felony, where the punishment is 2 to 10. But since you have a prior one, they could enhance that up to first degree, where it could be 5 to 99. But I see that in 89, you took 4 years TDC.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you remember if they sent you to TDC that time?
I went to TDC.
Okay.
I went to TDC that time. And it was so funny. I spent most of my time there in the county again. And what parole told me is what I had to go to TDC in order to get a number to be set free.
But they didn't do that to you the first time?
They didn't do it the first time because I was a first offender.
Oh, because you were a first offender. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So they weren't worried about you getting a TDC number.
Back then, first offenders, they gave you didn't have the option, but it was a certain criteria, and I don't know how that worked. I just fell under the criteria to be able to be PIA'd out of the county.
And what is PIA? That's just what they call it?
That's what they call it.
All right. Okay, and so then after that, you picked up another couple of cases in 1990, and then you also then in 91 get another cocaine case, another possession of controlled substance under 28 grams, and second-degree felony. And this time they give you, and you plea bargain for 18 years.
Yes, ma'am.
That's a lot of time. That's in 1991. It's just 3 years later, 4 years after you started getting cocaine cases. So now your numbers have gone from 3 years TDC to 4 years TDC, a little county time that I'm not going to even talk about on misdemeanors, and then 18 years TDC. So tell me your mindset. What would make you agree to do 18 years TDC?
I just wanted to get it over with. You know, back then you think everything is a walk in the park. You know, you had no responsibilities, you know. It was just like a walk in the park. It was like going to college, off to college, and just having fun.
Right.
You know, it's so ironic all the times that I went to prison. The officers would know me. Hey, all right, hey, you know. And my last go round, I was literally embarrassed. You know, but
Wow.
we'll get there later on in the story.
So you get 18 years TDC. You go to Huntsville this time.
Yes, ma'am.
And where do they send you from there?
From Huntsville, well, I decided to go back home to my mom.
Okay.
Okay, this time I'm going to do it right.
And
That was my
let me ask
mind
you this.
frame.
In 1991, how much time did you have to do on 18 years?
I did 3.
Okay.
And then the case I got in 91 with the 18, that's 18, right?
That's
91,
18
I
and
did
91.
the 3.
You did 3 years. Now, one of the things I want my viewers to know is you didn't do much time on long sentences back there if they were not aggravated because our prisons were overcrowded. The girls' side and the guys' side. That's when our Texas legislatures are trying to decide what are we going to do with all of these people. Because I remember when I started practicing law as a prosecutor in '92, people were getting 25, 30 years like nothing, but they were all the same cases. They were all possession less than 28 grams, possession less than 28 grams. So conceivably, you could have this much powder cocaine or this much cocaine, or it could be cocaine residue found in a crack pipe or whatever. You get your first case, your second case, your third case, and before you know it, you're doing 25 to life on residue.
Correct.
And the legislature says, look, I mean, we can't continue to afford to do this. So that's when they created the state jail felonies and took the nonviolent offenders and nonviolent offenses down to state jail level. So that was the possession of under a gram. And for our viewers, a gram of powder is about 1 sweet and low pack. That's a gram. So those cases, forgeries, nonviolent offenses, were supposed to be 6 months to 2 years in the state jail facility that did not have a parole system because the parole system is very expensive. So that's the way it started off. Of course, our legislatures continued to tweak it until it turned into a totally different animal from what it started off to be. But as I recall, those facilities were opened up in '94, I believe, off the top of my head. So from here, this is the last of your Harris County record, which I looked up and pulled right before this broadcast. That was your 18 years in '91. But tell us about what you did after that in another county, in Beaumont, which is Jefferson County.
Yes, I went to Beaumont, and, you know, I promised my mom that I was going to try to do the right thing. You know, that be the mindset when you're incarcerated. You know, you can talk the talk, walk the talk, or, you know, you doing all of this in pen and paper. And, you know, I laid so much doubt upon my family today with my actions, you know. Which one's actions are not their own when you're using drugs? You know, your mindset is totally different. But to make a long story short, I got caught up in Beaumont. And I was moving a lot of drugs. And still getting high, because that was a way to support my high. I love to dress, you know, be flamboyant, you know, and it caught up with me. I caught case after case.
Wow.
Within 5 months, I had 4 dope cases.
In Beaumont.
In Beaumont.
But luckily, none of them were federal cases. They were all state cases, county
Feds
cases.
tried, yeah, but they were all state.
Okay.
They were all state. And what saved me was, like, my last case, they just decided they wanted me off the streets of Jefferson County. And that's the way it was.
And how much time did you get? That's where you got the 3 30-year sentences.
Correct.
Wow. So tell me about that. So that was in 1993. You now have 3 convictions for 30 years each for the I guess the 5 cases that you picked up in a few months, or you said 5 cases in just
5
a few
cases. I ended up beating 2 of my cases.
Okay.
I had this particular time. I was able to actually afford a free world lawyer.
Okay.
I had never had the opportunity to have a lawyer. They were always court appointed.
Okay.
And I was able to beat 2 of my cases. So I still ended up with 3.
Now, when you got the 30-year sentence, was that from a jury or was it a plea bargain?
Plea.
Okay. And so how much time did you have to do on those?
I did right at 6.5 years.
Okay. And what facility were you housed in mostly?
Mountain View,
And where is that?
Gatesville, Texas.
So tell me about that experience. Did it change you at all? Because now you've been in and out of prison for 10 years, I guess, 10 to 15 years now, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And so every time, my experiences with people who go to prison is, they find the Lord, they pray, the access to drugs is not that free. It's not supposed to be access to drugs at all. I hear that there is some access, but so now you're clean, you're sober. People want to talk to their families and they want to find the Lord and just get another chance.
Correct.
So what happened the last time you went to prison that was different from the other times?
Well, at this point in time, I was tired. I was tired of going to prison, and I wanted to change, but never took the footsteps to changing. And I was introduced to SAFE, the drug program in Dayton, Texas. And I had my bout there in Dayton. But we didn't discuss, after I did all that time, I got out and went back.
Okay. Why?
Just got caught up again.
Was it relationship that was catching you up, or were you still 3 years? No, 6.5 years being incarcerated without drugs. Your body is free of the drug.
Yeah, it was free each and every time I got out. It's just that crowd.
So you would go back to the same crowd, the same
people,
relationships,
places,
the
and
same
things.
old
People, places, and things. And this time, you know how they say God is always in the midst of things. I became one of those prayer warriors in between all these times. Every time I went, it was like, oh, God, just get me out of this. I promise I'm going to do the right thing. Oh, God, let the jury or the judge be lenient with me. Oh, God, But this last time, I prayed an humble prayer. I didn't ask for any of that. I just asked God to give me the wisdom and the courage to change.
Wow, what a revelation.
That's all I wanted. See, because this time I lost my mom. She had already told me before I caught those 3 30-year sentences. She said, Lisa, you go back into them prisons, Mama may not be here for you.
Now, was she sick then when she said that, or was that
No,
just
ma'am.
something that came to pass?
This just came to pass.
Wow.
And you remember I told you I spoke briefly about SAFE?
Yes.
I was in SAFE, and 52 days before coming home in 1999, my mom passed.
Did they let you out to even go to
They
her
let me
funeral?
out.
Because a lot of times they don't let people out to go to funerals.
Yeah, they let me out.
And what did she pass of, Alicia?
Well, she was 82 years old.
Oh,
She
you're
had
an older
basically, she had basically lived her life.
Oh, okay.
She had basically lived her life. Not to mention, I was adopted at 3 days old. So,
Okay.
Very loving family, very good family.
So when she adopted you, how old was she then?
I can't remember. I was 3 days old.
But she was an older mother. I'm just saying, like, did you
Yes.
ever, you know how sometimes you calculate your age, the difference between your mother and you? I was just wondering if you ever did that.
I think it might have been 35, maybe.
40 years,
Yeah.
apparently. Since she was that much older in
I
90s.
see, I was 36 when she passed away. 36, 37,
And she was 80-something?
82.
Okay, yeah, so she was 40-something when she got you, maybe about 47. Okay, well, wow, so she passed away while you're in SAFE.
Yes,
And how does that affect, and you get out to go to her funeral, how does that affect you?
I was embarrassed,
Now, embarrassed to the people in prison or embarrassed to your family in the free world?
embarrassed in my family, to my family. I had already been like Marvin said, I'm never going to made it, but I was able to be there. God, like I said, God is always in the midst of things when you least expect it. And I was able to attend a funeral and sit there a few minutes before the family got there. And, at that point in time, I wanted to change. But I was in the right place to change because I was right there in Safe P, right where I needed to be.
And let me just explain to my viewers that Safe P is a prison-run drug rehab program. So that's the easiest way to explain it.
Okay.
It's drug rehab while in prison. Sometimes it's a condition of prison or probation if you violate your probation and you go to prison, but it's a prison-based program.
Correct.
Let me take a call, Alicia.
Okay.
Caller, thank you for calling Truth and Justice with Vivian King.
Hello there, Miss Vivian King.
Hey, Tracy, how are you?
I'm doing fine. How you, Alicia?
I'm doing pretty good. And yourself?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good.
Yeah, real testimony there today.
Well, thank
And
you.
I want to thank you for coming on, and I want to encourage you to keep on keeping on.
Okay, I sure appreciate you.
And you're gonna be a testimony to other people. And I want you to keep on telling your story to other people, and maybe you can prevent some of this stuff from happening.
Okay, well, I sure appreciate you calling.
And we're going to do that too. Thank you for watching, Tracy. I didn't get a chance to advertise today, so I appreciate for you just being a loyal follower of the show and just tuning in to take a chance that I might have at the show tonight. So I appreciate you, okay? And I love you. Happy New Year, Tracy.
Okay, Happy New Year, you too, and you too, Alicia.
Okay, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So, so your mother died. You're in Safe P. You have a few minutes before the funeral to talk to her privately at her casket, and that's when the real change comes. I guess.
Thought.
You thought? Okay. Tell us. Take me there.
Yeah, your actions be one thing. Your mind frame is to change because you're in a structured environment. I'm in the right place to change. I'm in a drug program, and this is the talk I threw on my family. Oh, I'm fixing to do this. I've never been to a drug program. I just want to get my life together, Well, the silver spoon been moved from your mouth. Okay, you're right. Now I got to do it on my own. I thought.
What happened? What happened, Alicia?
Well, I left Safe P, went back to Beaumont.
Hold your story and let's see what this caller has to tell us. Caller, thank you so much for calling Truth and Justice for Vivian King. What's your comment?
Yes. Yes. Can you hear me?
Absolutely.
I wanted to tell Miss Alicia Thomas to press on, and get a spiritual director to help her to walk the right way and to keep her head up. I admire her courage.
Well, thank you so much for calling the show. And as you, please watch the rest of the show because she's actually very, very instrumental at her church in the Path to Freedom program that takes offenders the moment they walk out of TDC and helps them change their lives. So she's there, but keep watching. Thank you. Okay, so let's talk about Beaumont. You get out.
I get out.
You go back to Beaumont.
I go to Beaumont. This halfway house picked me up from Safe P. I said, okay, I'm on the road. I thought. Got to this this halfway house was really a halfway house / treatment facility for Safe P, for people going in like the Jefferson County area. And it was co-ed. And, it was like it wasn't structured after a minute. I told the lady, I would say, I think I'm ready, my counselor. And she said, you ready? I said, yes, ma'am.
Ready for what?
To leave.
Okay.
I stayed there right at 45 to 60 days. Excuse me. And my brother came to see me. And he told me, he said, Lisa, you're very smart. You're smart, you're intelligent young lady. And you just need to do something different. And I said, I am. I'm going to do this. So along the way, I paroled to this YMCA.
Hold that thought, Lisa, at the YMCA. Caller, thank you for calling. Turn your TV and volume completely down and talk into your telephone receiver.
Hey, how you doing?
Fine, how are you?
I'm fine. My name is Marissa.
Hey, Marissa.
And I don't know, Alicia, if you remember me, but I think I was incarcerated with you in Dayton. I crossed your path. I don't know if you remember me.
Okay.
But I'm 29 years old, and I'm sitting here watching you encouraging me, you know, because I'm going through some tough times right now, and I know you are too. But I just want you to know that I'm keeping you in prayer.
Okay.
And you just stay prayed up and keep on pushing. You know, my pastor he say push, you know, pray until something happens.
Correct.
Marissa, that is so sweet for you to watch and to comment. Alicia, is there something you can advise her about? And is there anything that Path to Freedom can do to help her if she's going through a tough time?
Yes. What she needs to do is...
Tell them about the program that you run or
right now,
participate in.
I'm involved in Path to Freedom Ministry at St. John's downtown on Crawford and Gray. And what we do is try to instill and encourage those to keep pushing forward. You know, prison ain't for none of us. You know, and it's time for a change. But what we're doing now is trying to really give a brand new vision to those that have been caught up in the prison cycle, whether they've been once, twice, or never. You know, come out and get involved. We have the Lazarus Project every Monday night from 5:30 to 7. It's just like an AANA support group, except for it's a support group for ex-offenders.
Okay.
So if you can, it's close to a bus line. It's St. John's Downtown. That's the name of the church. You can Google St. John's Downtown at Crawford and Gray.
Writing that down right now.
Huh?
I'm writing that down right now.
Yeah, it's on Gray Street near the intersection of Crawford and Gray. And it has the Bread of Life ministry where we feed the homeless. It's my church also. And the Path to Freedom is the Monday night program. Like she said, like AA, it's a support group for ex-offenders from 5:30 to 7 p.m. And Alicia, tell my viewers the award that you had in church. I just happened to sit next to Alicia on Sunday. I didn't even realize it was her. And she had this plaque in her hand, and I kind of read it. I was trying to give me some word because the preacher was already preaching by the time I got in there. But tell us about the award you just won.
I received an award for the Leadership Achievement Award. And what I do for the Path to Freedom Ministry, I'm a recruiter. And with that being said, I would love to see you this Sunday if possible. We're going to have a table set up in the lobby. And you can come see me and we'll have a one-on-one.
And Sunday, we have 3 services at 8 a.m., 10 a.m., and 12 noon. Do you know which service you're going to be working?
All 3.
She's going to be there all day. So come, Marissa, if you're going through some changes, get over to our church on Sunday, and Alicia will have a good word for you and a support group of people that can help you with the resources you need to stay prayerful and strong when those triggers come along that make you do wrong, that put you back in the prison system. Because, as Alicia said, nobody belongs in prison.
Yes, yes, yes.
God bless you, and let's keep listening to Alicia's story. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Thank you.
Happy New Year, sweetheart. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you for that good word. Okay, so we left off at a YMCA.
At the Y, yeah.
At the Y, YW, I don't know which one.
I stayed at the YWCA for a couple of months.
In Jefferson County, in Beaumont?
In Jefferson County.
Okay.
And they're like a treatment facility, in a sense. But what it was is for independent living.
Okay.
And everybody had their own room. It was like 8 stories high. You have your own room. You had a kitchen that you shared. You had a shower, you know. And I guess it gave me too much leeway. And not only that, my mind really, I wasn't structured.
But let's talk about that a little bit. You were raised by a 2-parent household. That's structure.
Okay.
You went to high school and you graduated from high school. That's structure.
Okay.
Because as you know, many addicted persons and people who go to prison never graduated from high school. So you're one up on most people because you're smart and you know how to finish a task. Okay? So you're structured. Now, I don't know you that well, Alicia, but I've had my own demons, like cigarettes that I smoked for 30 years, and that was a demon because I couldn't shake it.
Correct.
And other, obsessive behavior that a lot of people have. But it never was drugs or anything like that, but it's still addictions are addictions.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess what I want to say about the structure is, you know, that to actually kick that addiction, you have to find something from within inside yourself that says, I'm just not going to do this anymore. It doesn't matter how structured it is. I don't care if you're in a structured environment or you just loosey-goosey without a care in the world. It's got to be up to you.
Correct.
How did you, and I'm saying that to say, even if you're not in a structure, something made you go seek out your friends and seek out cocaine again, right? So,
Yeah.
So what did that? Because if you're saying if you have to have structure, you got to be locked up. That was the only way you was going to stop doing it. But if you had the freedom to move around, the choices you made were just not the right choices, right?
Correct.
Would a trigger do that? Like a breakup in a relationship?
Relationships, alcohol could lead
Now,
you
did
back
you
to
always
using.
deal with relationships of people who were users?
Some were users and some was. I went around those that wasn't,
Was not users?
that used to be.
Used to be
Ex-addicts,
users.
yes.
Is that
And
good? That doesn't seem like that's good, because if you start dating someone that's an ex-addict and you're an ex-addict,
that's two sicknesses in one.
that's two sicknesses, and dealing with the pressure of an alternative lifestyle, which can sometimes be stressful. Mm-hmm. It shouldn't be, and I'm totally cool with everybody's choices. But I'm just saying sometimes that can be, depends on whatever environment you live in. I've had friends of mine tell me that. So, but I'm just saying, so when you get these triggers, what do you do? Like somebody's depressed you or made you mad?
Let me put it to you.
Was it depression triggers, or would it always be, I just want to get high and get that euphoric feeling again?
No, I'm going to tell you exactly what it was. I always, every time I got out, and this is the conclusion, I'm going to have to tell you a little bit about the conclusion.
Okay, I'm ready.
But we're going to get there in a minute, just a tad bit.
Yes, ma'am.
My thing was, I've always wanted, you know, they tell you, you got to crawl before you walk.
Yes, ma'am.
A lot of those times I got out, I wanted a straight jog.
Okay.
I didn't want to crawl.
You didn't want to crawl
I didn't
before
want to
you
walk.
walked. You wanted to go jogging. You wanted to start running like Usain Bolt.
That's right.
You want to take it to the limit.
That's right. So they always say hustling goes with using. Mm-hmm. And that's where I fell off. I had a mentor to tell me that.
Hold on just a second. Thank you for calling Truth and Justice with Vivian King. Please turn your volume down and talk directly into the microphone.
Yes, how you doing?
Hey, how are you?
Alicia?
Hi, how
All
are
right.
you? Good.
I'm an ex-offender also, and I was relating to your testimony and all that, and I was in and out of prison also. I would just see, can you give me some advice about seeking a job? I know you say you have to crawl before you walk. I did, work in fast food, but after a while, your pride and that's not going to put food on the table. So, like, what advice can you give me to seek a better job as an ex-felony?
Well, today the industry has been taken over by these temp service. I would go to any temp service in your area. Start with your work source, and work sources can give you some names and some leads to some temp services. And a lot of these temp services will hire ex-felons, and not necessarily in McDonald's or Burger King or churches. So you start with your work source and just try to get them to give you some of these temp services. You got pro staff, you have logistic, you have FX, and there's numerous of temp service.
One time I tried to put no, and I got a call back, and I got a job. But then later down the line, they looked into my background. But then when I put yes, they just automatically X me out the box.
How old are you? How old are you, sir?
I'm 27.
And sometimes people are afraid of your youthfulness. But may I make a suggestion?
Yes, ma'am.
Alicia works with the Path to Freedom at St. John's downtown. As she has said earlier, I don't know if you heard it, she'll have a booth at the church, in the lobby of the church, all 3 services on this coming Sunday, January 6th. Come and talk to her. Come sign up. They have programs on Monday nights. That's the Lazarus Project, which is the support group for ex-offenders, felons, from 5:30 to 7 p.m. every Monday night. And you can meet, and there are a lot of men in the program. It's not just women. And so and a lot of them can mentor you and help you, because sometimes, sweetheart, what I have learned is you have to volunteer to work in different jobs and different industries if you can meet people that allow you to do that. And so you can prove yourself that you're worthy of working, because people don't trust young people even without felonies, because the integrity of our workplace has diminished so much through the years. People don't do what they're supposed to do, and people are frustrated. I hire people. I've probably hired 10 secretaries or legal assistants or paralegals, whatever handle you want, in the last 10 years, because and only a few of them, one that was on probation for aggravated robbery, but not most of them are clean records, but they just don't do what they're supposed to do. So a lot of times it's people's work ethic and they're afraid of you. Come participate in this program, sacrifice for someone else, and learn. And I bet you'll find a good support group and some people that can mentor you and help you along your path. Because it's a journey finding a job. It's not just putting in an application and saying, oh, I'm going to hire him just because he put in an application. And a lot of times, ex-offenders, when you're ready to work, you think, oh, they're just not hiring me because I'm an ex-felon. They might not be not hiring you because of that. They might not like the way you look. They might not like the way you talk. You talk good, though, by the way, young man. I'm just giving you examples. I like the way you sound. I like the way you sound. But it's a lot of factors that go into people hiring people. It's not just because you're an ex-offender. So you might need to learn some other skills in terms of how to talk to people. So come to the program that she's talking about and see if you can learn something, and maybe even join the church, join or participate in the church. I'm not telling you where to join, but to participate and give of your time and see. I'm always inspired. I'm a lawyer, but I go to St. John's downtown because I'm a broken soul too. Sinner saved by grace. I'm no better than anybody else, and I want to be with the broken souls because I'm broken too. And so sometimes you can learn from people who are homeless and on the street sometimes when they're trying to do right. Okay, we love you and we want you to succeed. Come on out and talk to us. Okay.
All right, thank y'all.
God bless you.
God bless you.
All right. So I'm sorry, I forgot where we left off.
Okay.
Tell us where, if you don't want to say your exact job, what kind of work you do, since I wanted to go into your story, but it's about 12 after 7, and we stop at 7:30. So I want you to inspire the people who are watching. Yes, huh?
You want me to sum it up?
Yeah, I just want you I want you to tell people how you got a job. Because you got a lot of priors.
Yes.
I mean, how many times have you been arrested, Alicia?
I stopped counting.
About 15 times,
yes.
About 15 to 20 times.
Yeah, I got about
arrested.
like 13 misdemeanors.
She got 13 misdemeanors. They are in different counties. Luckily, she doesn't have that many in Harris County. I got a Harris County record. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 arrests in Harris County, but 4 of them are felonies. But yet you have a job.
Like I stated earlier, God is always in the midst of things. I'm going to cut it short. On my last go-round, I just went back for a parole violation back in 99. And I got out 2005. And I started off with a cognitive intervention class. Like I said,
Now, she said cognitive intervention. That means thinking class. Cognitive is the way you think. So let's talk about that.
I got involved in cognitive intervention. And that was
Now that's out of prison?
In prison.
In prison, okay. Mm-hmm.
This last go-round for the violation.
Okay.
That was a life-changing experience for me. It did wonders far and beyond safety for me.
Because cognitive means psychology, your thought processes. So was it like a psychologist teaching the class?
I don't know if she was a psychologist or not, but
okay, that's new. I never heard of that. I'm excited to hear about this.
Yes, cognitive intervention.
Let me write that down.
Oh, that's a powerful class.
Cognitive intervention. Do all prison facilities have it, or is that just that one?
I know.
What facility were you in?
Gatesville. It's called the Gatesville.
Okay.
And that was a life-changing experience for me. And this particular lady, Ms. Young, she liked it, repeat offenders.
Wow, so she wanted the challenge of helping.
She wanted the challenge, and she did that with me. And I was able to take that class because I was involved with AA and NA in prison. The counselor for AA and NA wanted me to get involved with her 26-hour substance abuse classes. Have you ever heard of those?
No, ma'am.
They offer those inside of prison. I don't know if they do it today, being that the economy, they got
funding.
Right. They got rid of a lot of the classes. And I've always said there's no rehabilitation. There's plenty. You just got to want it. It's plenty.
Let's take a call right quick because you're helping people. caller, turn your volume down and talk to us. Thank you for calling us.
Oh, yes. I'm an ex-offender also, and I want to be a mentor to some of these guys and women. I have my own business, and I'd like to hire some. So how would I, get my number over to you people? And also like to, I have a friend whose name is Gail Johnson. She has a prison ministry, and she wants to help also to be a mentor and help these guys and women get jobs.
Okay, let me give you my office number and email, and if you watch the broadcast, it'll also be at the end in the credits. But my name is Vivian.
Hold on one second.
Okay. And you remember where we left off because our time is running short, so we got to try to
Okay, I got it, Vivian. I just need your number.
Okay, it's Vivian R. King. My middle initials are more than one Vivian King. And my office number is 713 222 2019. And Alicia Thomas's phone, I don't know if you want to give out your phone number, Alicia, but she works with this Path to Freedom. And so since people are getting right off the bus from prison and they're continuously working with people, we're always looking to try to find jobs for people. And my clients who are on probation need it too. So that's why I need it, even if they've never gone to prison, they still might be on paper where they need jobs and they want jobs, so they say. So
I don't mind giving my name and number.
Okay, what's yours, sweetheart? What is yours?
If people call me as possible,
What's your name and number?
My name is Edward Ali. It's 281-690-2234.
And Ali is A-L-I?
Yes, ma'am.
And what is Gail Johnson's number?
Oh, I have to look in my phone.
Okay, no, don't worry. Let's not talk about that then. Okay. I will call you now. What you can hire people, and
yes, ma'am.
I want to put you in touch with Alicia though. Let me give you Alicia's number.
Yes, ma'am.
Or would you just like to maybe come by what would you think would be better?
I'm setting up a table this Sunday from
well,
8 to 12.
She's gonna have a table at the church, St. John's downtown, from 8 to 12, and she'd love for you to come by if you can. Do you think you could come by?
That's the church, Beyonce's church?
I think she might have been a member, just like we are, on West Gray. Yes, sir.
Now I know
but I know she puts a lot of money into it, into that house or program, or maybe her mother does. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
What time is that going to start?
At 8 o'clock.
Anywhere from
at 8 o'clock?
From 8
yes,
to,
sir.
There's services at 8, 10, and 12, and when you, in between the services, she'll be in the hallway, in the corridor with the booth set up to try to encourage people to participate. So, you come around 10 o'clock, that'd probably be a safe time.
Ooh, oh, no, I need to come at 8.
Well, she might want to worship that one. So I'm just saying for it to get off the ground, try to, maybe about 9:30.
Yeah, that's a good time.
9:30 would be a great time. You might even see me. Holler at me if you see me, because I dress down on the weekends. I had a cowboy hat on and some blue jeans at church on Sunday. So you might not recognize me, but find me anyway. Okay.
Okay, I will.
Look forward to meeting you.
We look forward to meeting you. God bless you.
Yes, ma'am, and look forward to meeting you guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.
Okay. We got 10 minutes, so
okay.
let's...
I've always said there's no rehabilitation there in prison. It's plenty. You just got to seek it.
Y'all hear that? It's plenty rehabilitation in prison.
Plenty rehabilitation. You got to just want it.
What do we do? What do I do as a lawyer, and I try to mentor young people to make them want it? I don't know how to do that, because that's the problem. We can ask the legislators for more programs, but what I've learned in my experience, people don't really get serious about their rehab efforts until they're over 30 and someone very important to them has died. That's what it just seems to be, the triggers that makes people surrender and say, I'm ready. No matter what, I'm ready. Prior to that, it doesn't seem like it matters.
Well, if you can recall at the beginning of our talk here, I said I was tired. I grew past tired. I grew desperate. And it was time for a change. And like I said, I prayed that last prayer, and I just asked God to give me the courage and the willingness to change. I mean, many doors and some windows open for me, right there in prison. I was able to, I had a folder. I ended up losing it in one of the shakedowns, is what you call it in prison. I called it My Life, and I built it in the cognitive class. And what I would do is go and share it in these 26-hour substance abuse classes through my experience. But my question would be very strongly, how many of you are here for parole? Come on, I'm just like you. I used to be like you. How many of y'all are here because of your parents or your loved ones, your significant other? You're doing it for all the wrong reasons. You have to want it for yourself. And once you want it for yourself, because see, many times I tried to please my family, and you fail every time. You just got to want it. And once you want it, that desire, along with God in the midst of things, when you have actually put God first in everything you do, blessings just come pouring. Now, I'm not just talking about finances, jobs, positive people in your circle. I can't explain it.
Yeah, good. It's so good. That's a
yeah.
powerful testimony, Alicia.
I can't explain it.
But I feel the goodness coming from you. I know that you're sincere about it. You're older than you look, because I would have never thought you were 49. I'm 54, so I'll tell my age too.
Okay.
But I would have never thought that you were that age. But I do know people do have to get tired and be beyond tired, and they have to do it for themselves. The problem I have with a lot of girls I try to work with in the system is they were sexually abused so bad as kids that they really are more suicidal and they want to hurt themselves. So I don't know how to advise them to find the love. You know what I mean? To find the self-love. You didn't have that experience.
Yes, I did.
Oh, you did have that experience?
Yes.
Well, I wouldn't have thought you did since you had the two parents to protect you.
Right. I did. I went through that at an early age.
Okay.
But you know what? It's always a thing where you don't talk about it.
Right, of course. Not in those families.
And it wasn't talked about until it was exposed. And what I mean by that, I was sexually molested by one of my mom's associates.
A man or a woman?
A man.
Okay.
And I ended up pregnant.
How old were you?
16.
Wow.
And I was so naive. My mom knew I wasn't sexually active with boys. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, Mom, I'm getting all these headaches. She said, you have your cycle? No, ma'am. I wasn't trying to hide nothing because I didn't know.
Right.
You see? So that made my mom know my mom was a very intelligent, old school soul lady.
Yes.
Did do no cursing, no drinking in our household, but my dad did. Mm-hmm. You know, so I guess he done enough for everybody. And that was a turning point in my life, I think. I really do. But all those years I went through that.
So where's the baby?
I had an abortion.
Didn't do the baby, okay.
Yeah.
Hold on just a second. God bless you, I know, I understand. Please turn your volume down and talk to us, please. Thank you for calling.
Okay, hold on. Let me turn this thing down here.
Yeah, we get the echo on the air and we can't hear you. We hear that echo.
Okay, I got the echo off right now. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, my name is Melvin Texader. I'm sitting up here listening at you all right now. I was flipping channels, and you all just happened to struck my interest because, like myself, I'm a person that is ex-felon. I've been down 6 times. I don't know how many convictions. I'm on parole for life. But here's the thing. I've never in my entire life had a problem finding a job. I educated myself. I rehabilitated myself. Those programs are there. I've been doing time since the Billiton era, turnkey era. But I've never in my entire life had a problem getting a job. You have to rehabilitate yourself. That young lady, Miss Lisa there, she spoke in volumes there when she mentioned about the surrendering first and getting tired.
Right.
She spoke in volume. You got to get tired.
Well, we would love for you to come.
You got to get tired, and you also got to have your relationship with the Lord.
Yes, sir.
Anything.
Yes, sir, Melvin. We have 4 minutes. So let me tell you this. I'm so happy that you called. I have a program like this every Wednesday night from 6:30 to 7:30 in which people can call in. You're welcome to call me at my office. You can come on and tell your story. I want to tell people stories so that we can make Houston and Harris County a better place to live, so that young people.
I'm glad to share mine, Miss King.
Young people understand the criminal justice system, and we try to figure out where we go from here and try to make the city a better place and understand the criminal justice system. We can talk about anything as long as it's the criminal justice system. It could be a trial. It could be something where somebody got done wrong, done right. It could be a victim that wants to talk. It could be anything that we want to talk about, and you're welcome. I'm always looking for guests. I do this weekly, so I run out of guests. And so I would love for you to contact me at my office. You can Google me, Vivian King, or you can look at the phone number will come up after the end of the show. But thank you for calling. We have 3 minutes. We have to wrap it up. You get tired. Everybody doesn't know how to get jobs. A lot of the young minority men can't get jobs, sir. And so we need some help with them. And our church has a program called Path to Freedom and the Lazarus program. And Alicia will be manning the desk on Sunday at St. John's downtown on West Gray. And she'll be manning the desk in the lobby from 8 to 12. And if you want to come volunteer or help us, we'd love to help. We'd love your help. Okay?
I'm looking forward to giving you all some input, gladly.
And call me, and I want to tell you a story so you can schedule a Wednesday. Okay, sweetheart?
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Bye-bye.
All right, we got 3 minutes to kind of...
So, you know, when I go into the prisons today, this is the first thing I tell the ladies, because I watched a lot of people come in while I was incarcerated. Some I knew, some I didn't. But I tell them, I'm not fixing to brag, but what I'm fixing to say is only by the grace of God that today I don't have to come through this back door in shackles and chains, but I could actually come through the front. And when I'm finished, I could leave. I say, once again, don't get it twisted. It's only by the grace of God that I'm able to do that today. If it could happen for me, it could happen for you. I never, ever thought it could happen for me. All those times I'd been in and out of prison, I never, not me, but it did.
Wow.
It did. So
That's powerful.
Yeah, it
That's
did.
powerful,
So
Alicia.
I'm very grateful today. So that's why I always spend my time at St. John's as much as possible, because I can't keep what I have if I don't give back.
Right. None of us can.
Nobody.
None of us can.
So
None of us can. I hope that in watching, you have learned something tonight. It's January 2nd, 2013. We want to make this a very prosperous, powerful new year. If you have addictions, let's start trying to pray on and meditate on getting rid of those addictions. If you have a child or a loved one in the criminal justice system, let's figure out ways to help them get out of their situation or to live through their situation and become a better person. Let's educate ourselves on what the criminal justice system is in Harris County to make it honest. Keep our politicians honest. Keep the judges honest. Keep the prosecutors honest. The prosecutors make the decisions. Keep the defense lawyers honest, like me. Let's come to jury duty. You can be fair and impartial. Make sure that the right thing happens. The not guilty people are let free. If they're guilty, make sure the punishment fits the crime. And let's encourage young people to put those guns away, stop shooting and taking other people's property, and to respect the criminal justice system and the society that we live in. I want to thank Alicia Thomas again for sharing her testimony and sacrificing her time to drive an hour from Tomball from work to come down to a studio in the barrio to tell her story. God bless you, Alicia, and I certainly appreciate it. And I'll be through there on Sunday. I don't know what I can do, but I'll sit there and talk to you for about 30 minutes, try to encourage people to sign up after I give my word. But thank you, and that's the wrap-up for tonight. Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you for tuning in again. Tonight we have something really good, a hot topic in the news this week. He's been charged with crime. This is a show where I try to educate real stories. Tonight we have something really good, a hot topic in the news this week. He's been charged with crime. This is a show where I try to educate real stories.